Lynx. This is my first video of 2019, and I've been trying to figure out how to talk to you guys about this one for a long time. This has to do with relationships. And I see people all the time. People come to me all the time asking about relationships. When am I going to find love? Why can't I find love? What happened to my relationship? Why is my relationship off? Should I stay with this person? The answer is usually it depends. Now listen, before I begin, you guys have to know I'm not the great authority on relationships. I've probably made every mistake there is to make on relationships a dozen times. When I was younger, I went out with someone who said, I think life is just living long enough to make all the mistakes that you've already made. I thought that was terribly depressing. The reason I'm sharing this is so maybe between my experiences at love, my experiences with relationships, my experiences with doing readings for people with relationships, and the good times and the good experiences I've had with relationships, maybe they answer some of the questions that people are always asking about love. So that you when you go to a psychic, you're a little more informed about it. Or when you go to your psychiatrist, you're a little more informed about it. Or when you go to your mother and you talk about relationships, or your best friend, so your best friend isn't hearing all your woes. Why can't I find love, people say? Why did this relationship end? Well, I usually look at the twos. The playing cards are really good for this because the playing cards are pretty straightforward. Twos usually deal with people in partnership. Okay? So my first question is, why do you want the relationship? Is it sex? Competition? Is it a romantic ideal? Do you want them to see you as the apple of their eye and give you love and affection and all that stuff that you never got? Is it practical? Is it a business partnership? Because it happens. People get in relationships and marriages for business partnerships. Any one of these ideas, or any one of these, is just as valid a reason, I guess, as any other. Do you want an enemy? You want someone to fight with. Because here's the thing. If you could figure out what it is that's motivating you to need this relationship, you might figure out the thing that's standing in your way. For example, there are people who tell me they desperately want a relationship, and then the first thing they do is they seek to be treated badly by someone. It starts right when people get... If you ever see these people, they're attracted to someone and they insult the person because they want to be treated badly, because for them, negative attention is the attention that they know how to get. So they want negative attention, and then they can be the victim. Then they're in somewhere in their mind, they're in a relationship with this person because this person's the victimizer and they're the victim. And if they take this further, they end up in a relationship where someone's abusing them. Then there's this one. I need someone to help me with the security. They can help me pay the bills. And what happens is they get in this relationship where they settle and they go for the security, and then they go, wait a minute, why am my heart not feeling fulfilled? Why am I not feeling adored by this person? Do you want someone to live up to a romantic ideal that you have? Well, when I was a kid, I always dreamed that I would fall in love with this kind of person and live in this kind of place. And some people force it. They end up getting it, and in the end, it really doesn't look anything like the fantasy, but they tell themselves it does. And then it ends up collapsing on them. What about this one? Competition. You see someone who has a light or something, and they want to dominate the person by showing they're sexually superior to that person, or they can get them sexually. They can seduce them. Why do you want to be in a relationship? Okay, why do relationships go wrong? Well, did you make him an enemy? Are the two of you actually working side by side, or is it about fighting and about who's right? Because you know what? The minute in a relationship it's about who's right, you've already lost. Is it about security? And money comes into the picture, or lack of security, or fear comes into the picture, and then you start to fight. So did you build it on security? Or did you think that security wasn't important? Or did you think that it would all just work out because it was a romantic ideal? Or were you practical partners, and do you actually deal with each other in practical ways? That means dealing with other in practical ways, communicating with each other in ways that aren't passive-aggressive, telling the person how you feel, not trying to fight with the person, not expecting them to live up to values that you yourself are not expecting or not don't live up to. I see this all the time in relationships. Someone expects someone else to do A, B, C, and D, and they're like, well, you do that? No. Well, why do you expect them to do it? And then they make them the enemy. Do you compete with them? Are you trying to prove that you do more in the family than they do? Well, I provide for the kids and the house and the family. I bring more in than you do. And you're competing with them. Well, I provide more than you do. Well, I do this, this, and this. Therefore, you should whatever. You should be my slave. Or are you doing this one? Are you being completely and totally dependent on them and not really seeing anything for yourself? Well, they're my romantic ideal. They make all the decisions for me. That's another reason relationships fail. The twos are very interesting in showing us what can go wrong and why relationships don't come into a person's life. Now, these are just a few of the reasons. But in these cases, if you look at some of these reasons, they may tell you why the relationship's falling apart. They may tell you why you're not finding someone. Now, here's another way to look at it. Are you willing to be equal partners with that person? Are you willing to take care of your own demons and not project your demons onto someone else? Are you willing to stand side by side with someone and motivate yourself and be there as a strong force to help motivate them when they need it? Are you compassionate for that person, and do you care about them and give them caring love and support? When relationships work, it's really fantastic. When the twos are really working, it's really amazing. When that two of hearts come up and there's really love, affection, and tenderness between people, it's amazing. But when they go to the other extreme, it's kind of weird. And it explains those questions, those big questions that people are always asking. Will I find love? Well, I don't know. Are you secure with yourself? Do you have confidence in yourself, or are you wanting someone to treat you badly? Do you motivate yourself? And are you willing to come up with a much bigger and much more practical and much more flexible idea about what love is? I'm Lucky Lynx, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. I hope the twos give you a little idea about some of the reasons why people feel challenged in the area of love. If you're interested in getting a reading from me, 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. If you're interested in taking a class on how to read the playing cards, because there's a whole lot of other cards in here that then combine with the twos and produce a whole lot of other stuff. You can contact me same way, or if you're interested in learning to read the Mexican Loteria, or if you're interested in learning to read the tarot, or if you're interested in learning to scry with a crystal ball, I have lots of classes going on right now. They are in secret Facebook groups where I post the lectures, and then you get to practice with other folks in the class, and you get 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with me to handle any concerns, any challenges, anything that you want to talk about or work through with me in terms of divination. So, for 2019, I'm wishing you all success and good fortune in all that your relationships, and may you find fulfillment, and may the answer to your question, will I find love? Will I sustain love? Will my love be strong? Be yes.